Put your hands together for Megan Welch.
Cutting into the time. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, guys. How are you guys doing? Good. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. I'm excited. This is an exciting night, right? This is pretty, some of you are, I can't even tell if you're like excited for me or the show or like, holy shit, Tina from Bob's Burgers is a real person. It's real. It's real. I know. I'll look and sound like Tina from Bob's Burgers if maybe she had like daddy issues and followed Melissa Etheridge around on tour. That's me in a nutshell. A little bit about me. On top of doing this comedy thing, I am also a 30-year-old single mom, raising a little 8-year-old boy by myself right now. Oh, thank you. That was awesome. You guys are sweet. Thank you for the blind enthusiasm for my parenting. That's great. You don't even know if I'm good at it or not, but that's cool. You can cheer for me. I mean, let's be honest. Wichita is like a 6-hour round trip, here and back. I could have left my kid home by himself, and you would have no idea. Just made him a couple bologna sandwiches, put on the director's cut of Lord of the Rings, given him a shot of cough syrup and been like, Mama's gonna go chase her dreams now, okay? You stay here, all right? Don't wander around. Please don't leave the house, okay? You just take your sleepy juice and you go to sleep. Don't fight sleep on that shit, okay? It's gonna get real weird for you if you try fighting sleep on that stuff. Trust me, you don't want to still be watching Lord of the Rings, that's for sure. Okay, you can trust Mama. She's what some would call a recreational sleepy juice user, so you can take that to the bank. Okay. Oh, that's cool. You guys are right to cheer for me. I'm a good mom. My kid is fine. Okay, he's not at home. That'd be crazy, right? He's in good hands. He's in the car right now, so. Was waiting for me to wrap this shit up. Let's be honest, he's in the car because I'm a 30-year-old single mom, all right? I'm gonna hit a few bars after this, and I need a wingman. And he needs a daddy, so that's called killing two birds where I come from. That's cool. Everybody drinking out tonight? Everybody got your drinks out? A couple of you, some of you drinking? Yeah, oh, she held up a shot, hell yeah. Yeah, drinking, that's great. Who came high? That was a legitimate question. Everybody gets real weird when I say, this is weird, I was like, I don't know you, bitch. Are you a narc? You can't just come into places with strangers asking questions like that. I am. I'm just an undercover, stand-up comic coming around club by club, busting people, 10 people at a time. Let's do it. I'm going to sell you some merch first, and then I'm going to bring the hammer of justice down on you. No, I'm not. I love smoking pot, honestly. I think it's a cool time to smoke pot, Look around. It's getting legalized and decriminalized state by state. Colorado funded their whole state, school budget on their, the whole state school budget on marijuana sales alone. That's pretty dope. Even my 85-year-old grandmother, she's the most conservative woman I know, is like, man, Megan, I think they should just legalize it. It's medicine. I'm like, you should turn that Snoop Dogg album down when you talk to me, Grandma. I've told you this several times. It was a cool time. It was a great time to smoke pot, man. And that's why it's so weird to me now. Everybody has excuses about why they do it. It's like, we don't need those anymore. People are just like, no, I only smoke because I got bad anxiety. It's medicine. Or I only smoke because I can't sleep at night. Smoking pot helps me sleep. Or I want to see if I can eat 12 Subway cookies in one sitting. I can't do it without marijuana, man. My hands are tied. I'm just saying, I've never met so many 20-year-olds with early onset glaucoma, man. It's a real problem. That's not a joke. I like to smoke pot for no reason at all. No excuses, I just like to clear aside a few hours of my day to get really weird, See what kind of things I think up. Mainly the set, but sometimes important stuff. I like to smoke pot with my dog, really. That's my favorite thing to do. He's an 80-pound pit bull. His name's Gary. I have to come home after a long day at work, roll up a joint, sit on the couch, get high with him. Wait till I get really high. Then I like to put him in a suit. It's one of my kids' old Easter suits. It's adorable. It's a real snug fit, I put him in the suit, and then I let him out of the house. And you're like, why would you do that? I'll tell you why. Because then I wait, and I watch for the first person in my neighborhood that he wanders up to that goes, oh, my God, you handsome fella. Where is your owner? Then I come running up behind him and I go, God damn it, Gary, you can't run out of a meeting like that. I know things are getting heated in there, but I'm not paying you big bucks for nothing. Then I pick him up and I carry him back into the house. It's fun. People are like so confused. What meeting is she talking about? Where a dog's running it. It was fun. It was fun. I don't even know what my neighbors think of me, okay? I'll just tell you, it's fun to smoke pot with your dog. That's all I came here to say. Goodbye. Anyway, yeah, I'm single. Kind of hard to get a man when this is the shit you want to talk about on your Tinder dates. It's like, yeah, I just like taking bong rips with my dog. What about you? Oh, date's over. Okay. I'm single, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm in a weird period of time in my life to be single because everybody in my life really is like in serious relationships. They're either married or they're getting married, and I'm like recently single. And that's a weird time because no one knows how to treat you. There's a lot of pity that gets thrown around. People try to hide their happiness from you. You know, even things like sex. It's like, we can't talk about that in front of Megan. Gosh, you don't have it anymore. I like to think they approach the subject like they think I have some like weird, old, maybe angry sandworm that lives in behind the dust and the cobwebs in my vagina, you know? It's just gonna come out and eat them if they bring up sex. Like, don't talk about water in front of me, I live in a desert. I was hanging out with some friends that are married the other night, and the night was getting really late. It was starting to wind down. And the husband looks at his wife and he's like, hey, what do you say we get out of here, you know? Maybe go home, have some spaghetti. And then she looks back at him and she's like, I would love to go home and have some spaghetti. But who's gonna make that spaghetti? He's like, I know, I thought maybe you would make that spaghetti. She's like, oh, I'll make that spaghetti. Who's gonna make me make that spaghetti? He's like, I guess I will, spaghetti. I'm sitting there in between them on the couch like, I don't know, I could go for some spaghetti right now. Is this an open invite? I'm kind of hungry. You've been talking about it a lot. Yeah, it turned out they were talking about sex, so they went home and had spaghetti, and I ended up in a Fazoli's drive-thru because life's weird sometimes. I think the hardest part about relationships, from my perspective, is like that first 6 months, you know, when you're trying to get to know somebody and decide whether you like them and you want to get serious, you know. And about that period of time is when you decide, okay, yeah, I like you. And that's when you have to let out that awful, disgusting, vile piece of shit human that you have inside you, that we all have inside us. Really, you know, we all have disgusting habits we do when we're alone by ourselves that we would want no one else to know about, you know. Like, I don't floss my teeth with my hair on the first date, but I did before the show, okay? We have weird, kinky things that get us off that we don't want anybody else to know about, you know? Like, I need you to pour that Kool-Aid slower, you know, make it look more like blood, and I need Buck Cherry to be playing in the background. I'm sorry, I should have told you I liked that band sooner. You know, we have weird stuff like that. When's the most appropriate time to, like, let that inner self out, you know, and not scare anybody away? You know, at some point, you have to unveil that goblin and say, please don't run away. I really like you. I think we can make it work. I've been thinking about it a lot. I think it's after you get married, you know, lock them down first. Like, I mean, literally right after, like wedding night, honeymoon night, and let that goblin roam free. No one's going to wake up the morning after a wedding if you make a big enough deal out of it and file for a divorce, okay, no matter what you do. And even if you kill a hooker on your wedding night, because still half the females in here would be like, I don't know, I just spent $4,000 on that sumbitch. I had family fly in from out of town. Fuck it, get a shovel. We'll make it work. I'm just saying, I hope a man marries me one day, you know, because I want that freedom. I'll fart in your face on a wedding night. I don't give a fuck. Not at that point. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. Not at that point. You'd be like, oh, shit, you didn't think I did that? That's because I've been holding it back for 2 years. But that's on me, baby. It's disgusting. I know. I used to go into another room and I'd fart into a pillow. I called it a silencer. You had no idea. Yeah. You know what? While we're being honest and you're down there, why don't you go ahead and kiss my beehole and call me John Candy? Because surprise, I'm into that shit too. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm into role-playing, specifically John Candy films. Let's start with Uncle Buck. I'll be Uncle Butt. Just give me a sec. I'm going to get a V-neck sweater, a cabbie hat. I'm going to light a cigar. Shit's going to get weird for you tonight, okay? But don't worry, something's in it for you. Come morning, I'm going to make big-ass pancakes because I stays in character. Yeah. I don't know that. Being single isn't that bad. Being a single parent is like the toughest part of that equation, Raising a kid right all by yourself. And that could be really hard. It makes me an overcorrective mom, if I'm honest with you guys. My own mother, she's always on my case. She's like, you know what, Megan, you're too hard on him. You need to ease up. That's just a boy being a boy right there. I'm like, what are you, Bill Cosby's lawyer? It's a dumb excuse. A dumb excuse. I hate that excuse. Boys will be boys. I'll say that if I look out into the backyard one day and his pants are around his ankles and he's drawing Pokemon in the dirt with his own urine, and I'll be like, that's my boy right there. That's just a boy being a boy, Anyways, the house looks great. I think we'll buy it. I think it's a dumb. I had a lady say that to me at the park the other day, a complete stranger. Our kids were running around together. They were playing Army, pretending their hands were guns. And it got a little aggressive after a while, and I finally had enough. I was like, hey, Brian, let's cut that out, man. Guns aren't cool. It's not cool to pretend to shoot your friends. And then the stranger pipes up. She's like, you need to lighten up there, Mama. That's just boys being boys right there. And I was like, first of all, the sandbox isn't an ashtray. Let's quit putting our cigarettes out in it, okay? Second of all, where do we draw the line between that's a boy being a boy and now there's a problem I need to address here? Because now your kid's taking his pretend handgun and holding it up to that very real Muslim boy's head and yelling infidel, Where do we draw the line? I just don't want to see your kid get PTSD from this play date. That's all I'm saying. He's got a real vivid and scary imagination. He's running around now collecting pretend human ears, hanging them off his Oshkosh belt loop like he's in Vietnam collecting a kill count. I'm just saying my kid watched Frozen before we left the house today. I don't think he was exactly mentally prepared to role play Apocalypse Now. My biggest fear raising a kid is screwing this kid up. That was my biggest fear ever since I had him and held him for the first time. It's like, please don't screw this pretty little angel up, And I think that's only because no one ever tells you it's okay to mess the first one up. It's fine. That's called a mulligan, You don't even know what you're doing yet. You're still learning. That's fine. I think every kid you have after the first one gets a little easier, gets a little better, right? You start to know what you're doing now. You know what not to do. Like the second born kid, you're like, hey, let's try a little more TLC with this one, all right? If we learned anything from Big Brother, strict discipline just made him dye his hair black and reread Hitler's Mein Kampf, and I know I'm new at this parenting thing. But I'm going to guess rereading that shit's probably a red flag. And why does he have a highlighter this time? It's creepy. I'm just saying there's nothing you can do about it and you screw up the first one. That's just a situation when you call the high school and warn him, don't let him in if he's wearing a trench coat. Some of you think I crossed the line on that. You're like, hey, you said you weren't going to cross any lines tonight. I don't know if I said that or not. I didn't. But you were like, I don't think she will. She's starting soft with this parenting stuff, and there she goes. I have to say it. Because, that's a real fear for me, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a white lady, I'm raising a white little boy. That's a real fear for me. I screw this kid up, he could be the next school shooter. Or worse, like a serial killer or a televangelist conning old ladies out of their money. Or a Republican. These are real fears for white women raising white little boys everywhere. My roommate left a serial killer documentary on the TV the other night, and I came home drunk and I watched that shit. And that's when I learned that serial killers are statistically white males. You know what else they have in common? Their mom screwed them up. Yeah. They all have mommy issues. That means if I do my job really, really bad, I could be the mother of the next serial killer. How embarrassing for me. How embarrassing. If 30, 40 years into the future, I'm just sitting around the house with my girlfriends on like a Thursday night, shooting some dice, playing some bunco. I don't know what old people do on a Thursday night. I'm assuming things. But we're just hanging out. And then one of my friends will pipe up from across the table and be like, hey, Megan, what's Brighton up to these days? And I'll have to be like, what, Roberta? You haven't seen the news? Turned out he's a serial killer. She'll be like, oh no, not sweet little Brighton. I'll be like, yeah, well, sweet little Brighton grew up and he's that guy on the news last week strangling bitches and jerking off over their dead bodies. Remember when I thought he was just gonna be a low-end meth dealer? Well, I messed him up more than that. It's like, oh man, Megan, it's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up, girl. And I'll be like, well, the police report only said he was carving mother into every victim's chest, but you're probably right, Roberta. Kids carve the darndest things. Boys will be boys. All right, that's all my time for you guys tonight. Thank you so much. You've been great.